Have you ever wondered why some people seem to draw others effortlessly? They walk into a room, and suddenly the atmosphere shifts, lighter, warmer, more alive. It's not their clothes, not their hairstyle, not even the perfect symmetry of their face. It's something far more elusive, something you can't quite name, but you can't ignore either. This is the invisible glow of true attractiveness. It's not about being the loudest, the most stylish, or the one with the sharpest wit. Real attraction is subtle, magnetic, and deeply human. It's not measured in numbers on a scale, in likes on a post, or in glances across a crowded bar. It lives in the way a person makes others feel seen, safe, and understood. And here lies the secret. Attractiveness isn't something you chase, it's something you cultivate. In today's journey, we'll explore the unseen qualities that make a person unforgettable, not just noticed, but remembered. You'll discover why charm without authenticity fades, but a presence rooted in confidence and kindness lingers long after you've left the room. We'll look at the inner foundations of magnetism, self-respect, curiosity, emotional depth, and the quiet courage of being yourself. You'll see how shifting from performance to presence transforms not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. By the end of this journey, you'll understand that becoming attractive isn't about reinventing who you are. It's about uncovering what was always there. So stay with us. If you've ever felt invisible, overlooked, or unsure of your place in the world, this message will remind you that your glow is not missing. It's waiting to be remembered. And when you're ready, whisper to yourself, "My presence is magnetic." Let this be your first step into the kind of beauty that no mirror can capture and no time can erase. Every lasting form of attractiveness begins here, with self-respect. Think of the most magnetic people you've ever met. They weren't necessarily the most beautiful or the most charming, but they carried themselves in a way that made you stop and notice. It wasn't arrogance. It wasn't show. It was an unspoken truth in their posture, in their tone, in their energy. I know my worth. Self-respect is the anchor of presence. Without it, we drift, bending ourselves to fit into the expectations of others, losing pieces of who we are in exchange for temporary approval. But when you honor your own boundaries, when you speak with clarity instead of apology, when you say yes with joy and no without guilt, you radiate something irresistible. It's not perfection that draws people to you. It's certainty. The certainty that you won't betray yourself just to be accepted, that you won't shrink to make others comfortable, that you are whole with or without anyone's validation. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to be liked, you often become more likable, because people feel safe around those who are steady in themselves. Your self-respect silently tells the world, you can trust me because I don't abandon myself. This is where attraction begins, not in a mirror, but in a decision. A decision to treat yourself as sacred, to honor your own time, your own energy, your own heart. So take a breath right now and affirm it quietly. I respect myself, and that is my power. Because self-respect isn't just an inner vow. It's the light others see first, even before your smile, even before your words. And once lit, it never goes unnoticed. There's something unforgettable about being in the presence of someone who is truly curious about you. Not the shallow kind of curiosity that asks questions just to fill silence, but the kind that leans in, listens deeply, and makes you feel like your words matter. This is the second secret of lasting attractiveness, genuine curiosity. When we think of charm, we often imagine witty lines or clever stories. But the truth is, the most magnetic people are not always the ones speaking. They are the ones listening. They don't just wait for their turn to talk. They create space where others feel safe to unfold. Why does this matter? Because curiosity is connection. It tells someone, I see you. I care about what lights you up. I want to understand the world through your eyes. And nothing draws people in more than feeling seen without judgment. Think about it. How often do we meet someone who listens without interrupting, who asks not just, what do you do, but what inspires you? What brings you alive? Those are the conversations that linger in the heart long after the words fade. And here's the hidden beauty. Curiosity doesn't just make others feel valued. It expands you, too. When you listen deeply, you gather stories, perspectives, and wisdom that make your own presence richer, more layered, more human. So if you want to be truly magnetic, shift your focus outward. Instead of thinking, how do I impress them? Ask, how can I understand them? That single shift transforms every interaction. Pause here and reflect. When was the last time you felt deeply listened to? Remember how safe, how open, how alive you felt. Now imagine becoming that for others. That is the art of genuine curiosity, and it is one of the most irresistible traits a person can carry. True attraction doesn't live on the surface. It's not in the perfect outfit, the polished answer, or the rehearsed smile. What makes a person unforgettable is emotional depth, the quiet courage to be real in a world obsessed with appearances. We've all met people who seem flawless on the outside, yet something feels missing. They impress, but they don't connect. Why? Because surface-level perfection doesn't touch the soul. What moves us, what draws us closer, is honesty, the willingness to show not just the highlight reel, but the truth. Emotional depth is not about oversharing or dramatizing your life. It's about presence. It's about allowing yourself to feel fully and express authentically. When you laugh, it's from your core. When you speak, your words carry weight because they come from a place of truth. When you share a story, it isn't to impress, but to connect. And here's the paradox. Vulnerability doesn't make you weaker, it makes you magnetic. Because when you reveal the layers of your humanity, others feel safe to reveal theirs. You become a mirror that reflects not perfection, but authenticity. And that is far more beautiful than any illusion. Think of the last time someone opened up to you with sincerity. Their eyes softened, their voice slowed, and suddenly the air between you felt different, warmer, truer. That is the kind of moment emotional depth creates. Those moments linger. They anchor themselves in memory because they touch something eternal. So don't be afraid to show your real laughter, your real fears, your real dreams. Emotional depth is not about being dramatic. It's about being honest. And honesty, in its purest form, is breathtaking. Take a quiet breath and remind yourself, my depth is my beauty. Because the truth is, people are not drawn to perfection. They are drawn to presence. And presence always lives deeper than the surface. There is a certain kind of presence that can't be ignored. It's not loud. It's not forceful. It doesn't need to dominate a room or outshine anyone else. It's the quiet yet unshakable aura of confidence, rooted not in ego, but in truth. Confidence without arrogance is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can possess. Because unlike arrogance, which demands attention, confidence simply commands it. Arrogance says, look at me. Confidence whispers, I know who I am. And that whisper is far louder than any shout. But here's the secret. True confidence isn't built on achievements, appearances, or approval. Those things are fragile. They can be lost, taken, or forgotten. Real confidence grows from self-trust. From knowing that whatever life places before you, you can meet it. That even if you stumble, you will rise again. This kind of confidence feels different. It doesn't belittle others. It doesn't need to prove anything. Instead, it creates ease. People relax in your presence because they sense you are grounded. They feel safe because you don't compete. You simply exist, steady, and whole. Think of someone who walks with calm assurance, not rushed, not performing, simply aligned with themselves. Notice how people naturally turn toward them. It's not about perfection, it's about embodiment. They embody their worth in every gesture, every word, every silence. And the beauty of this? Confidence without arrogance is teachable. It grows each time you keep a promise to yourself, each time you speak your truth instead of hiding it, each time you honor your boundaries without apology. With every act of self-alignment, you strengthen the quiet power that radiates outward as confidence. So pause now and affirm, I trust myself, and that trust makes me radiant. Because confidence isn't a mask. It's not something you put on. It's the natural glow that rises when you stop pretending and start living as who you truly are. We often underestimate it. We think attractiveness must come from something rare, something dazzling, something out of reach. But the truth is, one of the most magnetic qualities a person can carry is also the simplest: kindness. Kindness is not weakness. It's not naivety. It's strength wrapped in gentleness, courage softened with compassion. And when combined with self-respect, it becomes one of the most irresistible forces of human connection. Why? Because kindness makes people feel safe. In a world where so many are guarded, hurried, or hardened, kindness feels like fresh air. It disarms the walls we build around ourselves. It tells others, you are seen, you matter, you belong here. That message alone is enough to transform a casual encounter into something unforgettable. But there's a subtle line. True kindness isn't about pleasing others at the cost of yourself. It isn't about saying yes to everything or sacrificing your own boundaries. That kind of kindness is exhaustion disguised as generosity. The real kind, the attractive kind, flows from abundance, not from emptiness. It says, I can offer love without losing myself. Think of the last time a stranger smiled at you when you were having a difficult day, or when someone held the door, or paused just long enough to genuinely ask, how are you? Those tiny gestures stayed with you, didn't they? Not because they were grand, but because they reminded you that goodness still exists. When you embody kindness, you become magnetic not because people want what you have, but because they feel better in your presence. And that feeling of warmth, of ease, of being uplifted is unforgettable. So ask yourself, what small act of kindness can I offer today, not for recognition, but simply because it feels right? That act might seem small to you, but to someone else, it could be the brightest part of their day. Pause here and whisper to yourself, my kindness is my strength, and my strength is beautiful. Because in the end, people may forget your words or your appearance, but they will never forget how you made them feel. There's a light in the eyes of someone who knows where they're going. It doesn't mean they have everything figured out, or that their path is smooth and certain, but it does mean they're moving forward, guided by something deeper than circumstance. That light, the glow of purpose, is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can carry. Purpose doesn't always mean a grand mission or world-shaking vision. Sometimes it's as simple as knowing what matters to you and living in alignment with it. It might be creating art that speaks to the soul, raising a family with love, building a career that feels meaningful, or simply choosing to live each day with intention. What matters isn't the scale of the purpose, it's the authenticity of it. When you live with purpose, people feel it. They sense the steadiness in your steps, the conviction in your words, the fire in your presence. Purpose turns ordinary gestures into something unforgettable because they are backed by meaning. Think of the difference between someone drifting through life and someone anchored in direction. The drifter might entertain for a while, but their energy feels scattered, fleeting. The purposeful one, however, carries gravity. They don't need to persuade or perform. Their focus itself becomes magnetic. And here's the hidden gift. Purpose makes you radiant even when you're alone. Because you're no longer seeking validation to feel alive. You're already alive, lit from within by the clarity of knowing what you stand for. That self-alignment is irresistible. So take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? What do I want to give, to create, to embody? You don't need all the answers now. Purpose reveals itself step by step, choice by choice. Whisper to yourself, my life has meaning, and my purpose makes me shine. Because when you live from that place, you don't just attract people. You attract opportunities, experiences, and relationships that resonate with your truth. And that is magnetism on a level no surface charm could ever reach. Attractiveness isn't always found in seriousness or depth. Sometimes it shines brightest in lightness, the ability to laugh, to play, to bring joy into the moment. Playfulness, when it's genuine, is one of the most magnetic traits a person can carry. Why? Because life can feel heavy. People are often weighed down by stress, responsibility, and the endless list of things they must do. When someone enters the room with a spark of humor, with an ease that says, it's okay to breathe, to laugh, to let go, they become unforgettable. Playfulness isn't about being reckless or avoiding responsibility. It's not about making jokes at someone's expense or always needing to be the center of attention. True playfulness is lighter than that. It's the courage to not take yourself too seriously, to find joy in the ordinary, to share laughter without walls. Think of the last time someone made you laugh unexpectedly, a laugh that rose from deep inside, surprising you. Didn't it feel like a release? Didn't you feel instantly closer to that person, even if just for a moment? That's the gift of playfulness. It dissolves distance and replaces it with warmth. And here's the secret. Playfulness is contagious. When you allow yourself to be silly, to smile, to enjoy, you give others permission to do the same. Your energy becomes lighter, more approachable, and undeniably magnetic. So ask yourself, when was the last time I allowed myself to play, to laugh freely, without worrying about how I looked? That freedom is more attractive than any carefully crafted image. Pause now and affirm, my joy is magnetic, my laughter is light. Because in the end, attractiveness isn't just about being admired. It's about being remembered as the one who made life feel a little brighter, a little easier, a little more alive. There is something undeniably magnetic about mystery. Not the kind that hides in shadows or plays games, but the kind that comes from a person who knows themselves so deeply, they don't hand out every piece of who they are to anyone who asks. This mystery is not secrecy, it is self-respect wrapped in grace. Attractiveness often fades when someone feels too available, too eager to prove themselves, too willing to give everything away at once. True allure, however, lies in boundaries, the quiet strength of saying, I know my value, and not everyone has earned access to all of me. Boundaries create space for desire. They teach others that your time, your energy, and your heart are not to be taken for granted. They add depth to your presence, reminding people that you are not here to be consumed, but to be honored. And here's the paradox. Boundaries don't push people away, they draw the right ones closer. When you protect your inner world, you show that what's inside is precious. That reverence makes others curious, attentive, respectful. It makes them lean in, wanting to know more, not because you're withholding, but because you're whole. Think of the last time you met someone who carried themselves with quiet mystery. They weren't distant, but there was something about them, an energy that hinted at depths you couldn't see all at once. Didn't it make you want to linger a little longer, to discover more of their story? That's the power of boundaries. So reflect now. Where in my life do I need to honor myself more deeply? Where have I been too available, too open, too willing to give away my essence without reciprocity? These questions are not about building walls. They are about creating sacred thresholds, places where respect must be the price of admission. Whisper to yourself, my mystery is not emptiness, it is richness. My boundaries are not walls. They are invitations to real connection. Because the truth is, attraction doesn't come from being endlessly available. It comes from knowing that your energy is sacred, and not everyone is meant to hold it. At the core of every truly magnetic person lies one essential quality: integrity. Looks may catch the eye, charm may spark interest, but it is integrity, the alignment between words and actions, that builds lasting attraction. Integrity is quiet, but powerful. It doesn't announce itself with grand gestures or dramatic promises. Instead, it reveals itself in consistency, showing up when you say you will, keeping your word even when it's inconvenient, and treating people with the same respect whether the world is watching or not. This kind of integrity creates trust, and trust is irresistible. Because in a world where so many wear masks, consistency feels like a rare treasure. When people know they can count on you, when your presence feels steady instead of uncertain, they are naturally drawn to you. And here's the truth: integrity is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It means admitting mistakes instead of covering them. It means saying, I don't know, instead of pretending. It means apologizing when needed and standing firm when it matters. Think of the most magnetic leaders, mentors, or friends you've known. Their beauty wasn't just in their charisma, it was in their reliability. They made people feel safe not through perfection, but through honesty. That safety is one of the most attractive energies a person can radiate. Without integrity, attraction fades quickly. With it, attraction deepens over time. Looks may change, trends may pass, but the gravity of integrity never loses its pull. So ask yourself, where in my life can I be more aligned? Where can my words and actions meet more fully? Every step you take in that direction strengthens your presence, your influence, your magnetism. Pause now and affirm, I am consistent. I am true. My integrity makes me radiant. Because beauty without integrity is fragile. But integrity itself, steady, unwavering, is a kind of beauty that never fades. So often we chase attractiveness as if it were something outside of us, something we must earn, purchase, or perform. But the truth, as we've uncovered step by step, is far simpler and far more powerful. Real attractiveness is not added, it is remembered. It is the glow of self-respect anchoring your presence. It is the spark of curiosity that makes others feel seen. It is the depth of your emotions, the quiet confidence of your being, the strength of your kindness. It is your purpose that lights your path, your playfulness that softens the journey, your boundaries that protect your soul. It is your integrity that makes others trust you, and your mystery that keeps them leaning in. All of these together create a kind of magnetism no mirror can reflect, no trend can capture, no time can erase. And here's the most important truth: you don't become attractive by becoming someone else. You become attractive by finally stepping into yourself, fully, unapologetically, radiantly. When you stop chasing approval, when you stop diluting your essence, when you stop performing and start being, that is when your presence begins to glow. This glow is not loud, but it is undeniable. It is not forced, but it is unforgettable. Because people may forget what you looked like, what you wore, even what you said, but they will never forget how they felt in your presence. So if you've ever doubted yourself, if you've ever felt invisible or overlooked, let this be your reminder: you were never lacking. The light you've been searching for has always been within you, waiting to be uncovered. Pause here, place a hand on your heart, and affirm, I am magnetic. My presence is enough. My glow is already here. And carry this truth with you, not as something to perform, but as something to live. Because the most attractive person is not the one who tries to be chosen. It is the one who has already chosen themselves.